unlocking a new Pokemon for every day according to this calendar. So on day 60, the calendar year was Combee, and when we spun the wheel, we got regional form. So presenting Combee, regional form, the tiny bee Pokemon, a steel and flying type with the new ability, Align. This regional form of Combee dons a strange metal mask upon its head. When all three of the Combees align, they are said to take on a new form. When threatened, Combee will unite to try to scare away its enemies. Back to its new ability, Align, which states that when Combee falls below 50% HP, it will transform into Regional Combee, Align form. This is Combee in its Align form. This form is made when all three Combees come together in an effort to scare off its foes. The face on the mask is supposed to represent some unnamed Pokemon from a distant region. So on day 61, the calendar year is Combee, again, because we got Combee on both the 60th and 61st. So I'll be making two forms for Combee. By the way, when we spun the wheel, we got Future Paradox. Presenting the futuristic Iron Magnet, the Paradox Pokemon, a steel and flying type with the ability Quark Drive. It resembles an object described in a futuristic magazine as a Combee from 1 billion years in the future. The three Combees are connected by a strong electrical pulse. It is thought they were sent to our world by extraterrestrials. Iron Magnets is based on, well, magnets. So on day 62, the calendar year is Wigglytuff. When we spun the wheel, we got Mega Evolution! Alright, so presenting the melodic Mega Wigglytuff, the balloon Pokemon, a normal fairy type with the ability Pixelate. Upon Mega Evolving, Wigglytuff is now able to inflate its body up to an even more impressive size than before, allowing it to belt out songs for months on end. Its fare has grown even more luxurious than before. However, if you attempt to touch it, Wigglytuff will lash out with a mega-powered body slam. Mega Wigglytuff is based off of a singer. So on day 63, the calendar year is Toxtricity. When we spun the wheel, we got Regional Form. So presenting the Country Lovin' Toxtricity, Regional Form, the Country Pokemon, an electric rock type with the abilities Country Rock, Plus, and Minus. This regional form of Toxtricity was recently discovered by a pair of country loving trainers who had supposed to talk with so much country music, it evolved into this new form. This Pokemon can't help but strum along to any song it hears. Back to its new ability, Country Rock, which is a new ability that boosts the power of sound-based music by 50%, decreases damage done to them by 30%. So on day 64, the calendar year was Colossal, and when we spun the wheel, I got Future Paradox. Presenting the robotic Iron Heater, the Paradox Pokemon, an electric fire type with the ability Quark Drive. It resembles an object mentioned in a paranormal magazine as a Colossal from 1 billion years in the future. The energy source on its back appears to be infinite, and any attempt to remove it have angered this bulky Pokemon. Iron Heater is based off of a generator and a heater. So on day 65, the calendar year is Steamy, and you spun the wheel, we got Gigantamax. Presenting the Terrarium Gigantamax Steamy, the fruit Pokemon, a steel-pure gas type that still keeps the abilities of Leaf Guard, Oblivious, and Sleep Veil. Upon Gigantamaxing, Steamy's innocent Twirlin has now gone into a ravaging whirlwind. It can now smother others in its appealing aroma. This causes many bird Pokemon from all across the world to swarm it though. Alright, so on day 66, the calendar year was Shelter, when we spun the wheel, we got Future Paradox. Presenting the futuristic Iron Maw, the Paradox Pokemon, a water dragon type with the ability Quark Drive. It slightly looks like an object described in a dubious magazine as a shelter from 1 billion years in the future. It snaps down on any who dare approach it. Iron Maw is kind of based off of a stapler remover. So on day 67, the calendar year was Drowsy. When we spun the wheel, we got Convergent. Presenting the ugly Blobzee, the blobfish Pokemon, a pure water type with the abilities Water Absorb, Dry Skin, and the hidden ability Cute Charm. Although it resembles Drowsy, Blobzee is an entirely different species. Blobzee is thought to look better when it's in the water than above it. While most find its appearance ugly, some find it incredibly endearing. Blobzee is based on, well, a blobfish. Okay, so on day 68, the calendar year was Drowsy. Again, because we got Drowsy on both the 67th and the 68th, so I'll be making two forms for Drowsy. With that, though, when we spun the wheel, we got Pass Paradox. Prepare to face the ferocious Drowsin Taper, the Paradox Pokemon, a psychic ground type with the ability Photosynthesis. It resembles a creature mentioned in an old expedition journal as a Drowsy from 1 billion years ago. The mist that follows it around is said to be the souls of those it's defeated. This Pokemon is said to have been the cause of all the folktales surrounding the Drowsy line. Drowsin Taper is just based off of a taper, which is what Drowsy is already based on. Okay, on day 69, the calendar gave us Avalugg. When we spun the wheel, we got Pass Paradox. Prepare to face the icy... Wait. My voice is feeling really tired after all that reading. Google Translate, do you think you could take over for me for this one?
Sure, Mountainous Iceberg, the Paradox Pokemon, an Ice Rock type with the ability Photosynthesis. It resembles an ancient creature described in a paranormal magazine as a Avalugg from 1 billion years ago. One swing from its mighty rocky tail is enough to shatter mountains in one sweep. Mountainous Iceberg is based off those dinosaurs with rocks on their tails.
Thank you, Google Translate. Anyway, so on day 70, the calendar was Metachamp, and we spun the wheel, got Pass Paradox. So get ready to face the healing properties of Tribal Psychic, the Paradox Pokemon, a dark psychic type with the ability Photosynthesis. This Pokemon has similar characteristics to a creature mentioned in a paranormal magazine as a Metachamp from 1 billion years ago. It uses odd herbs and stones to heal its fellow tribe mates. It's said to have taught early humans medicine. Tribal Psychic is based off of the dark arts. Okay, on day 71, the calendar year was Gafai, and we spun the wheel, we got Future Paradox. So presenting the robotic Iron Graffiti, the Paradox Pokemon, a poison fire type with the ability Photosynthesis. It bears a resemblance to an object described in a paranormal magazine as a Gafai from 1 billion years in the future. It marks its territory of both paint and fire. It's thought to have been used in futuristic wars. Iron Graffiti is based off of a splat gun. So on day 72, the calendar year was Pengturne, and we spun the wheel, we got Convergent, presenting the Waddling Pengturne, the Snow Penguin Pokemon, an ice fine type with the abilities Ice Body and the hidden ability Snow Cloak. Although it resembles Pengturne, Pengturne is an entirely different species. It slides its spiked belly across the ice to slam into its opponents. But on land, however, this strategy doesn't end well. Pengturne is based off of Emperor Penguins and Snowmen. And on day 73, the calendar year was Contra, and we spun the wheel, we got Future Paradox, which gave us Iron Blaster, the Paradox Pokemon, a water electric type with the ability Quark Drive. It resembles an object described in a paranormal magazine as a Contra from 1 billion years in the future. It blasts huge volts of electricity out of its blaster. It's thought to be a highly advanced Contra from a time of dried up oceans. Iron Blaster is based off of a ray gun. So on day 74, the calendar year was Jolteon, and we spun the wheel, we got Pass Paradox. So prepare to face the venomous Poisonous Sparks, the Paradox Pokemon, an electric poison type with the ability Photosynthesis. It vaguely resembles a creature mentioned in an expedition journal as a Jolteon from 1 billion years ago. Matches ancient folklore sketches of a Jolteon with a scorpion tail. Poisonous Sparks is based off of a Manticore. Okay, so on day 75, the calendar year was Jolteon. Again? Because we got Jolteon on both the 74th and the 75th. So, I'll be making 2 forms for Jolteon. With that out of the way, when we spun the wheel, we got Regional Form, which gave us Jolteon, Regional Form, the Ghostly Pokemon. Pure Ghost type with the ability Shadow Tag and the hidden ability Clear Body. This form of Jolteon was found when an Eevee was exposed to a dust stone. It's unknown if Jolteon is a spirit or just commands them. Jolteon are particularly found as spirits and can often be found with tons swarming around it. Day 76, the calendar year was Sliggoo, and we spun the wheel, we got Future Paradox, presenting the robotic Iron Goop, the Paradox Pokemon, a dragon poison type with the ability Quark Drive. It resembles an object described in a paranormal magazine as a Sliggoo from 1 billion years in the future. Although it's built like a tank, it can only fire poisonous goop, not missiles. So on day 77, the calendar year was Crocalor, and when we spun the wheel, we got Future Paradox, which gave us Iron Incubator, the Paradox Pokemon, a fire fairy type with the ability Quark Drive. It resembles an object described in a dubious magazine as a Crocalor from 1 billion years ago. It will intensely take care of any egg placed in its incubator. Iron Incubator is based on, you guessed it, an incubator. Okay, on day 78, the calendar year is Klefki. When we spun the wheel, we got Regional Form, which gave us Klefki, Regional Form, a mobile Pokemon, a psychic fairy type with the abilities Magic Bounce and hidden ability Magician. This form of Klefki collects little space-related objects and hangs them on itself. It loves to spin the objects around and amuse its trainer or those around it. This regional form of Klefki is based on those baby mobile things that you hang above cribs. So on day 79, the calendar year is Dealing, and when you spun the wheel, you got Pass Paradox. Prepare to face the fierce but cute Flowering Rafflesia, the Paradox Pokemon, a grass and poison type with the ability Photosynthesis. It resembles a creature described in a paranormal magazine as a Dealing from 1 billion years ago. Its form depends on the type of environment it lives in. The spring form lures bug types in with its sweet smell before snapping down on them. I also gave it a summer form, a fall form, and a winter form. Lucario and Rafflesia is based off of the Rafflesia plant, which is a plant that Venusaur and Vileplume are both based off of. Okay, on day 80 the calendar year is Lucario, and we spun the wheel, we got regional form. So presented, Lucario, regional form, the Sphinx Pokemon. A rock psychic type, the abilities Forewarn, Inner Focus, and Sand Force. This form of Lucario was discovered in a far-off desert region. It is said to live in pyramids and will tell the future of anyone who dares enter its domain. If it sees good things in your future, then it will try to protect you from misfortune. This regional form of Lucario is based off of a Sphinx fortune teller. So on day 81, the calendar year was Hippowdon, and when we spun the wheel, we got Pass Paradox, which gave us Scorching Earth, the Paradox Pokemon. A ground and fire type with the ability Photosynthesis. It resembles an ancient creature described in an old expedition journal as a Hippowdon from 1 billion years ago. To be used storch and scan upon its foes. If it gets in your eyes, you'll be blinded. Okay, on day 82 the calendar year is Hippowdon. Again, because I get Hippowdon on both the 81st and the 82nd, so I'll be making 2 forms for Hippowdon. With that, when we spent the wheel, we got regional form. Presenting the surprisingly aquatic Hippowdon, regional form, the water witch Pokemon. A water rock type with the abilities Drizzle and the hidden ability Swift Swim. Although its size is massive, it can somehow swim swiftly through the ocean. Smaller fish Pokemon like Wishy-Washy hide them on its coral on its back. If bigger Pokemon threaten the Pokemon on its back, it will unleash a fierce Hydro Pump. This regional form of Hippowdon is based off of coral reefs. Okay, so on day 83, the calendar gave us Venomoth. When we spun the wheel, we got Future Paradox. So presenting the robotic Iron Sonar, the Paradox Pokemon. A poison psychic type with the ability Quark Drive. It resembles an extraterrestrial object cited as a Venomoth from 1 billion years ago. It seems to be made by the same creatures as Iron Moth. It seems to receive and send signals from some unknown place. Iron Sonar is kind of based off of a UFO. So on day 84 the calendar year is Amoonguss, and we spun the wheel, we got Future Paradox again, which gave us Iron Terrarium, the Paradox Pokemon. A grass electric type with the ability Quark Drive. It resembles an object described in a paranormal magazine as an Amoonguss from 1 billion years ago. It is used in the future as the only way to preserve plant life in the robotic landscape. So on day 85, the calendar year is Shinx, and when we spun the wheel, we got Gigantamax. Prepare to face the humongous Gigantamax Shinx, the Flash Pokemon, a pure electric type that keeps its abilities of Rivalry, Intimidate, and the hidden ability of Guts. Upon Gigantamax, Shinx has grown to an electrifying size. However, it seems to be unaware of this change, and will still try to nuzzle its trainer, but will either end up crushing or electrocuting them. Okay, on day 86, the calendar year is Ralts, and when we spun the wheel, we got Regional Form. So, presenting Ralts, Regional Form, the Snake Pokemon, a pure ground type with the abilities Dry Skin, Limber, and the hidden ability Sand Force. Although it looks like it has a rocky exterior, Ralts is actually biologically similar to clay. It is unknown if the snake on Ralts' head is actually conscious, or just acts on instinct. This regional form of Ralts is based off of Medusa. Alright, on day 87, the calendar year was Haxorus, and we spun the wheel, I got Pass Paradox. Okay, prepare to face the ferocious Jagged Scales, the Paradox Pokemon, a dragon steel type with the ability Photosynthesis. It vaguely resembles a creature mentioned in a dubious magazine as a Haxorus from 1 billion years ago. It can shoot the spikes off the top of its back at anyone who approaches it. Jagged Scales is based off of a Stegosaurus. On day 88, the calendar year was Fletchling, and when we spun the wheel, we got Gigantamax. So presenting the ginormous Gigantamax Fletchling, the tiny robin Pokemon. A still normal flying type that keeps its ability of Big Pets and it's a hidden ability of Gale Wings. Gigantamax energy has awakened Fletchling's fiery DNA, but for some reason it doesn't change its type, which has befuddled researchers. The heat emanating from its wings is at a normal temperature, which might explain its normal type. Okay, on day 89, the calendar year is Fletchling. Again, because we got Fletchling on both the 88th and the 89th, so I'll be making 2 forms for Fletchling. With that, though, when we spun the wheel, we got Convergent, which gave us Fletchpea, the tiny leaf Pokemon, a pure gas type with the ability Leaf Guard and the hidden ability Chlorophyll. Although it looks like Fletchling, Fletchpea is an entirely different species. It has disguised itself as a bird Pokemon to protect itself from being eaten by bug Pokemon, as bug Pokemon think it's a bird and don't dare mess with it. Fletchpea is based off of the Parrot Pea, which is a plant that looks like a bird. And finally, on day 90, the calendar year was Annihilape, and when we spun the wheel, I got Mega Evolution! So presenting the finally at peace, Mega Annihilape, the Peace Monkey Pokemon. A ghost fighting type with the ability Vital Spirit. Upon Mega Evolving, Annihilape has broken free of its mortal bonds and is finally at peace. It now has several ghostly fists that will do the fighting for it, so it can maintain its now peaceful nature. And its shiny is pretty, am I right? Make sure to comment down below who your favorite was this month, and I'll see you again next month. Bye!